Tommy had always loved spending his summer holidays in the countryside. His grandparents' house, nestled between rolling hills and a thick forest, was the perfect place for him to explore. This year, however, something was different. There were two new companions waiting for him when he arrived: Whiskers, the fluffy white cat with bright blue eyes, and Shadow, a sleek black cat with striking green eyes. They belonged to his grandparents, and from the moment Tommy met them, he knew that this summer would be full of adventure. One warm evening, as the sun set behind the hills and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Tommy sat on the porch with Whiskers curled up on his lap and Shadow watching the world from the railing. His grandmother came out and placed a bowl of freshly picked strawberries on the table. "Have you heard about the Starry Lake, Tommy?" she asked with a twinkle in her eye. Tommy perked up. "The Starry Lake?" His grandmother nodded. "It's deep in the forest, hidden from plain sight. Some say it only appears at night, when the stars reflect so brightly in the water that it looks like the sky has fallen into the lake. But there's something special about it. Those who find the lake might be able to make a wish, but only if they solve the lake's mystery." Whiskers purred, and Shadow's ears twitched. They seemed to understand every word. Tommy's curiosity sparked. "Can we go see it? Can we find the lake tonight?" His grandmother chuckled. "Well, I suppose if you follow the stars, you might just get lucky." That was all Tommy needed to hear. As soon as the stars began twinkling in the sky, he grabbed his flashlight and headed into the forest. Whiskers and Shadow, his loyal new friends, trotted close behind him. The forest at night was much different from the forest during the day. The trees seemed taller, their branches casting long shadows that danced in the moonlight. The path was narrow, winding between the towering trunks, but Tommy felt safe with Whiskers and Shadow by his side. Whiskers darted ahead, her white fur glowing faintly in the darkness, while Shadow, always cautious, stayed close to Tommy, his green eyes gleaming in the dark. As they walked deeper into the woods, Tommy noticed something strange. The stars above them were shining more brightly than he had ever seen before, and they seemed to be moving, guiding them forward. "Look, Whiskers, Shadow!" Tommy whispered excitedly. "The stars are showing us the way!" Whiskers meowed softly, as if in agreement, and Shadow gave a low purr. After what felt like hours of walking, they finally emerged from the trees and found themselves standing at the edge of a small, shimmering lake. Tommy gasped in awe. The lake looked just like his grandmother had described. The surface was perfectly still, and the stars reflected so brightly in the water that it seemed like the sky had fallen into the lake. It was breathtaking. "We found it!" Tommy whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. Whiskers padded up to the edge of the lake, her reflection rippling softly in the water. Shadow, ever cautious, sat beside Tommy, his tail flicking thoughtfully. But as Tommy gazed into the lake, he noticed something strange. In the center of the lake, the stars seemed to swirl, forming a pattern, a shape. Tommy squinted, trying to make it out. "It looks like a star-shaped key," Tommy said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you see it too?" Whiskers meowed, and Shadow's eyes narrowed as if they understood the significance of what Tommy had seen. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed across the water. "To unlock the mystery of the Starry Lake, one must be brave, clever, and kind. Only those with pure hearts may find the key." Tommy spun around, searching for the source of the voice, but there was no one there, only the stillness of the night and the soft rustling of the trees. "Did you hear that?" Tommy asked, looking at his two companions. Whiskers and Shadow both looked at him, their expressions serious. It was as if they were waiting for him to make a move. Tommy took a deep breath. "All right, I guess we need to solve the mystery." With Whiskers and Shadow by his side, Tommy knelt at the edge of the lake. The swirling stars in the water continued to form the shape of a key. Slowly, Tommy reached out, touching the surface of the lake with his fingertip. As soon as his finger touched the water, the lake rippled, and the star-shaped key began to glow. The ripples spread outward, and suddenly, a small island appeared in the middle of the lake, rising up from the water. On the island was an ancient stone pedestal, and on the pedestal lay a real glowing star-shaped key. "We did it!" Tommy exclaimed. Without hesitation, he waded into the water, with Whiskers gracefully leaping from stone to stone, and Shadow following carefully behind. When they reached the island, Tommy picked up the key. It felt warm in his hand, as if it was alive with the magic of the stars. But as soon as he held the key, the voice spoke again. To complete the mystery, the key must be used wisely. Think carefully, young traveler. What do you wish to unlock? Tommy's heart raced. What could the key unlock? He looked down at Whiskers and Shadow. They seemed to be waiting for him to decide. Tommy thought for a moment. He could use the key to unlock treasure, or perhaps a secret passage to an even greater adventure. But then he remembered what his grandmother had said. Those who find the lake might be able to make a wish. I know what to wish for, Tommy whispered to his companions. I wish for this summer to never end. I wish to always have adventures with Whiskers and Shadow, no matter what. The key glowed even brighter in his hand, and the stars above them sparkled with joy. The voice echoed one last time, soft and warm. Your wish has been granted, brave one. Your adventures will never end, and the magic of the stars will always guide you. As the words faded, the star-shaped key dissolved into stardust, and the island slowly sank back into the lake. But Tommy wasn't sad. He knew that the magic was still with them. That night, as they made their way back through the forest, the stars above twinkled even more brightly, lighting their path home. And Tommy knew, deep in his heart, that his adventures with Whiskers and Shadow were only just beginning.